Like it looks like it can if you want to
5
snap.
minutes. Last one we let settle for 5
And
minutes
another
before
can.
calling a new.
Unfortunately, every dive that we've made so far, even at 3+ kilometers below the surface, we see marine debris.
Another Beluga. Okay, turning out off this ridge.
Glass sponge on a piece of sargassum in the foreground. We're not going to
Kind
zoom
of
in
distance
on
have we covered
everything.
so far?
We want to make some headway and maybe encounter some different environments. Although we're not really anticipating seeing a huge variety here.
That shiny thing out there, more debris.
Alright, I'm going to come down a little bit, but not too much because one that round.
Very surprised.
But you kind of obviously we have larger delta, but
it's kind of, I can get a little closer, but not too much video.
we should be moving soon though, or in the process of moving.
Let's snap from here. I don't think it's a fish. I think it's man-made debris. Yep.
Oh, more debris.
All right, we can leave that be.
Nav.
Go ahead, Nav.
Just so you guys know, we've made it about 120 meters along our track at this point. We just missed the 100-meter mark.
Roger that. Thank you.
Pilot, could you zoom in on the feature to the right at the end of that trail? It might be...
Video, let's go here, and then I'll move right.
Okay.
I think this is new for the
Great
star.
Great shot.
Looks like a Seriantha
Yeah, another ship move, please.
Tube anemone.
An additional 30 meters, bearing 350 degrees at a speed of decimal 2 knots.
Traveled about 120 meters since we settled on the bottom. And that looks like there might be something at the end. That would be exciting.
That would be very nice to know what creates those
Go ahead.
trails. Those are more like what we saw the past 2 dives.
Little tunnel.
I think I see a sea cucumber.
Thank you, Bridge.
Is that what I'm seeing?
So what's
on the
that
right?
pink, orange coming out?
That's what I'm thinking of, the sea cucumber.
Yeah, it might be a very small
right down on
sea
top
cucumber.
of it.
Yep.
That's max zoom.
I'm moving a little closer.
Are we able to, I don't know, I was going to say probe, see if we could
uncover what it is?
Yeah.
Let's go in here.
Very recent.
Is this a dive in or is this the exit?
You guys want me to initiate fog light protocol?
I would imagine there could be a heart urchin in there.
Initiated.
And feeding underneath this cluster of sargassum.
It's like a hydroid.
Just come on.
Maybe we'll just startle whoever it is.
Okay, let's go in.
Is there anything to the right of it that would indicate there's motion? Somebody's down there now.
Wow. Great video. We have another one of the baby stock sponges on the right side of the view.
3 of them there in the view. Diagonally from there down to the left.
Watch leads, is this good or do you want to?
I don't think we are going to see who's making the burrows unless we could dig under, but that would disturb a whole little community, so I don't think that's necessary.
Roger that.
Unless others...
Yesterday, folks were interested in trying to do that.
Well, this would be the place to do it, to see who's making them.
Would it be worth running to the other end of this and see if there's something else going on there?
You can try.
I think it would be interesting. Anybody, I'm sure?
Using...
sorry, I've been trying to watch my videos a lot slower and more broken up today, so I'm having a hard time seeing. But I just realized at the end there, maybe the burrow's too big, but the shape of it reminds me of an acorn worm, an interesting acorn worm. But I think the scale is off. Otherwise, I would have said from a trail like this, certainly a spatangoid heart urchin. But it is intriguing.
Yeah, I think we're getting some feedback from the chat room that it might be worth poking around here.
Yeah, do you think so, Scott, that we should try to take the manipulator and kind of dig a little bit and see if we can find what's making this trail?
I guess you could try. Stir up lots of sediment. I'm not sure how effective that is. But
that's true.
You can go back in
we
video
wouldn't be able
if you
to
want.
see very much by tapping into the sediment.
Actually, even the geologists are interested in stirring it up a little bit. Scott Harris just said he liked that idea.
That's because we want to see the sediment in video.
I don't know if he's going to dig that long.
Yeah, so that could
I don't
benefit everybody.
Let's ramp up.
All right.
Let's come wide.
Take a poke.
But we are over 2/3 of the way already, too.
Okay, hydraulics coming on.
It would be very interesting to see exactly who this is, because this has been a dominant pattern in most of our dives so far.
Don't forget about the button. Confirm that it pushes an eye.
Cue the Jaws theme song.
Okay, let's go in.
I'm thinking maybe to the right of the sargassum.
And then bring it left, bring it across.
Yeah, bring it left, or so we don't land on top of whoever it is, but maybe just nudge from behind. Oh, I thought I saw it move. Just wishful thinking.
So we're guessing that this is a spatangoid heart urchin.
So,
spatangoid.
Do you have a preference on how we dig in?
Pilot, I'm thinking if we could rotate the jaws or the claws a little so that we can come in at the sargassum from the right side, like from the burrow itself and scooping toward the left.
Let's come out a little bit.
You agree?
Yes, that sounds like a good plan.
Max wide.
Either that or we get the scoop out again, but I think just seeing what we have first.
Yeah, I think this can probably penetrate a little deeper than the scoop can.
So if I'm understanding from this direction?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Yep.
Let's go back in.
Straight down and then to the left.
Straight down to the left. We got, hold there, video. Come out a little bit.
Maybe a little deeper if you can. Yes. Nobody's swimming away.
Come wide, or come a little bit partial. Let's make sure no one's running.
What do you have in the jaw?
I'm looking right down at you, pilot.
Roger that. We need to make this a little. Go ahead, video. Let's drive it around. Nothing in the jaw.
Yeah, it's just that sticky
that little
mud.
Orange ring is there. Just go in, try to get right there, yeah.
What's that? It's like a test of maybe a gastropod shell or something.
That
on
was the orange that we saw sticking out.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm looking all the way back.
All right. Well, I unfortunately have to move on.
Okay. We tried.
Yeah, we tried. It will remain one of the mysteries of the deep.
One of the many mysteries.
At least now you have plenty of room to go chase the trail and see if there's something on the other end.
So while we're getting reoriented here, we're going to have to keep moving because of this current and the ship's position.
Gosh, I feel like I haven't used the craft in a while. All right, coming up, pushing out. One more quick zoom there, rolling. That thing is rolling over for us. And time for me to go.
We're being pulled away. Mother Nature calls. Well, it's too bad because that certainly was a very active organism that made that trail. So it looks like we're running into a snowstorm. That's this current that we've encountered.
Let's take off the fog lights.
Likely part of the western boundary undercurrent. That would be, oh, sorry. We have to keep going.
Yep, unfortunately these are flybys.
Yeah, we're limited to flybys right now due to the current position.
Back to about 80 degrees.
Okay.
It's much better.
I was wondering why I was having a tough time stowing that arm. It's because those floodlights kind of make it difficult to see exactly where your jaw is. Or at least for me, they do.
Yeah, they blind
the port manip
cam, yeah.
Which I was trying to look over and make sure I wasn't going to dig a jaw into anything. Looks like our flare's kind of bad. I think I need to tuck it in a bit more.
That's been there the last 2 days.
We're going to see a lot of this
even that lower
landscape throughout the dive today.
I don't know about the lower.
Yeah, it looks good.
You can see off in the distance.
I'm looking at your jaws. I don't see any major light.
Giant bedforms.
But try turning them if you'd like.
I think we're okay. I'm also up a little higher.
Looks like you have a little ditch to port, maybe.
Yep. I wonder if we should bring the guard for the Tempro back.
I'm curious as to what these little mounds are.
I'm sure that has some effect on it.
Any comment from the chat room or otherwise?
Gray.
What's that?
We have a
they
matte
seem
gray
to be in a row here.
On board?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's try that.
We might have black. Let's see. 415, I bet we have.
Can we take a zoom in on any of these to see if there's a
scuff it
feature on them, such as any cavities or holes?
Oh, we're listening.
Go ahead, video. Start here on this one. Partial.
It almost looks like these are little burps from below of maybe some sort of gas bubbling up and popping out at the surface.
Current should be taking me to the next one.
This is an area that
if you guys are stretched, you ready for another move?
Has been considered as having some hydrate gases down below.
Forward a little. Do you want me to rotate it off?
No, I'm coming back.
Copy.
Okay, I think we can come wide.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to keep our eyes open for bubbles.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't know what the fact that they seem to be in a row, if that tells us one thing or another. Anyone on the chat room, want to comment? Any organisms that might make these types of mounds
There's a
from
burrow
underneath?
down there.
Yeah, there are certainly burrows. Yeah, maybe this one coming in on the upper right, we could zoom in on that burrow. Almost an ingress and egress.
I can't speak to these burrows specifically, Leslie, but there are certainly plenty of crustaceans and worms that can create burrows.
Go ahead, video.
Well, yeah, the burrows certainly, but what about the mounds? Do they typically make
If you're not looking into it, it gets...
does anyone know of any?
It gets to be a nuisance.
Oh, okay.
The vehicle just seems squirrely.
Yeah, it does.
The mounds basically being a
I'm glad
byproduct
that you agree.
Of digging.
I was being annoyed by it. I thought I was
And
doing
that
terrible.
could be what's happening there.
Yeah. I mean, the other mounds didn't seem to have the
Okay,
burrows.
let's let it go.
But we'll keep looking.
Video swapping out.
Some of these have a pit at the top as though maybe something bubbled out, but without the bubbles, we certainly wouldn't know.
Bridge, ROV nav.
That could be how the organism...
Hi,
This
Bridge.
looks different.
We'd like a ship move, please. Great. It'll be a repeat of the last. An additional 30 meters at 350 degrees. Speed of decimal 2 knots.
Our first flying sea cucumber.
We have a
Holothurian.
Thank you, Bridge.
This is great. Doing its dance.
Wow.
Look at that. That is beautiful. You can see its entire gut system.
And pilot, you just went off port.
Yep.
It's amazing.
These organisms ingest the sediments when they are on the seafloor, and you can see where that sediment goes straight down that tube.
You can see how quickly he's moving. We're not going to be able to follow him much longer.
And it pretty much comes out the other end looking just like that.
There he goes.
Thank you, Bridge.
That is a beautiful...
Are you coming around?
Yeah, rotated just about 15.
Beautiful video. Beautiful organism.
Ship's got to move on.
Copy that.
350. 30 meters.
Pilot.
And Robert Carney has let us know, I believe he's referring to the Holothurian we just saw. Enipniades pale. I should have taken Latin.
I know, me too. I think that was pretty close.
Thank you.
Bob Carney, if you want to call in and tell us a little bit more about
we would
these.
love to hear about them.
Yeah, Bob would have a lot of knowledge on these. I think it's a Nipniastes, and there may be a misspelling there, but
okay.
Bob, we'd really love to hear your expertise on the soft bottom fauna.
Little volcanic structures. They're not. Don't quote me on
So
that.
that last move, Sean, should have settled out. If there's any way you can tell if you're moving, I know it's hard.
On a much smaller scale.
That
looks like they're
Let's go in on the top here.
on either side.
If you can't
like
get an idea.
Avenues.
If you give me a minute, I might be able to
and you can see where material has come out of the top.
I expect
slightly different
I expect
color.
not for another like 3 or 4
Definitely
minutes.
appear to be
I think that's
more
good. Thank you.
burrow-like.
Settle for 3 or 4 minutes.
I expect you to not start moving for another 3 or 4 minutes.
Bubble formed.
But,
Gas bubble formed.
I think it's kind of impossible for you to tell.
Yeah.
Like zero reference frame.
This is where we need a critter cam to put maybe one of those crabs put a cam on it, see if it would go down into the burrow, investigate for us.
A mini GoPro.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need to keep our eyes open in the water column as well. Pilots are very good at that. We're not quite so used to it, so if anyone sees anything in the distance,
it's
let us
interesting
know.
how these mounds are all in a row.
It's crazy, yeah.
See, I just noticed a feeding trace to the lower left. You may have passed it already, but it looked like a starburst or sunburst pattern around a single opening, and that's very characteristic of Echiuran spoonworms. It'd be great to find one, well, not alive, but in feeding position. And basically at the center of the hole, it can extend its proboscis, the soft part of the front of its head, kind of like a tongue, out more than a meter away from its body. And it basically is looking for any organic particles that have settled onto the seafloor and then carry them back to its mouth.
Oh, yes. This is, I think we're coming back to that, Scott.
Yeah. Can we please get a zoom in on that, pilot, and video? And there's a smaller one to the left of it, it looks like.
All right, let's go partial.
And Scott, would you mind explaining that again now that we're looking at it, please?
Sure. So Echiuran worms, commonly called spoonworms, are a phylum of worms that dig burrows.
You can go more if you want.
Almost vertically, and they can extend
So it's
the
been
front
about
of their
5
head,
minutes
which
from
is called
our
a proboscis or a tongue.
call, so it takes about 5 minutes to start
It's
moving.
very flexible. It actually has these small cilia, hair-like
good.
structures on the ventral surface of it, and it can essentially creep that along the sediment surface, so it extends. Can be maybe more than a meter out, 3 feet out from where the hole is that it's living. So basically, its tongue is extending out over the surface of the sediment, and it's picking up fine organic particles and channeling them back towards the mouth. And so then after it's fed,
Not seeing anything, so I think we can move on.
Thank you, Bridge.
Return that to the burrow and then go out in a different direction and continue feeding again, and bring it back to the burrow, extend it out again. And
That's
so by doing this repeatedly, and because the currents are so slow down here, the scars of the feeding remain for a very long period of time.
Yeah, they don't get wiped out.
Pattern you're seeing in the sediment. And then presumably once it's eaten all around it, it can actually come out of the burrow, move to another place, dig another burrow, and then start again.
So how long do you think it would take the worm to make one of those tracks? Any idea?
Great question. I have really no idea.
Well,
not my area of expertise.
There's a nice disturbance up here. Let's take a peek at that.
All right, video, let's go in here before we get to the disturbance,
Okay,
see what this is. It's one of those,
seagrass.
For a second, coming back into it, stand by. Yep, I thought it was one of the fish with the no eyes.
Oh.
What are they called?
We haven't seen one of those yet.
I'm not even sure if they're in this area, but okay, pushing forward.
I mean, they're in the Gulfs.
Huh. This looks similar to the first one that we were at.
My goodness.
That is
really
one mouthful of mud.
Well, if that is a beaked whale, it is a very sharp beaked whale, or it has very sharp edges to it.
Looks more like an anchor scar.
It really does,
Yeah.
but there's...
Thicker and then wide as size.
It would be a long anchor line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And to have no other disturbance around it.
And but you notice to the right of it, it did look like there was a thin line that curled, almost like it could be a line to.
Oh, it did? I didn't see that.
The pit.
Here's something new, I believe. Have we seen this before?
Is this the stock sponge we've been seeing?
Stock sponge would be my first guess. This one looks a bit older, a little more weathered.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's alive, but I would agree that that's what that is.
Has some little white.
I guess
so. You know what? Can we get a closer view of that? Let's be sure that it's not Culeolus, which is a stocked tunicate.
Oh, yeah, that could be. The tunicate we saw yesterday had some white things inside the body. This also looks like there are something similar. And then maybe.
Yeah, if we could see the stock, that might tell us. If this was a if this is a tunicate, there should be openings at both ends of
and
that
it looks
major
like
body that we're seeing, and the stock wouldn't be comprised of intertwined siliceous spicules. I'm thinking, you notice that ridge at the base of the main body?
Yeah.
I think this might be Culeolus, and I will send you a link so you can see both the spelling and images of that.
That would
and
settle
like,
down a little while. You want another one?
On the stalk. The little white guys.
I think so. Keep moving.
Do we need to see a different angle?
We're going to repeat the last move again. 30 meters, bearing 350 degrees, speed decimal 2 knots.
Do you want to go?
That's the ROV coming around.
It's a great shot of the opening.
Good call video.
We've heard from Tina Molodtsova that she thinks it's a sponge rather than a tuna pit. Maybe with a little more look.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, I wish I could see a bigger opening that would convince me that this is a Culeolus. I don't know that they are able to open and close, but I suppose they could. If it's a typical tunicate, they should be able to open and close.
Where would the other opening be?
Current aperture.
Right behind the stalk. All right. Well, sounds like we got to check behind the stalk. Let's come partial.
Is it something we might want to get a sample? Might want to sample?
Any of the scientists out
there? All right, it's going to be cloudy, but hopefully it will swing around.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we've ever sampled one.
You might feel a tug.
And it also has some amphipods likely on the
No,
stalk.
that's going to be too much. I have to come
so we'd get associates as well.
I'm bailing from this.
But it sounds like people are agreeing that it's a tunicate.
Now with closer inspection, this is great to have all this video and to be able to see different angles.
Let's just give it a second for all this dirt to...
Tina points out that it doesn't look very lively, so it might not be the best sample.
Okay.
Fish swimming around.
I agree that I think it's a dead one.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at photos of live ones, and they have those same sort of linear patterns of the white dots that we saw in this. So I do believe that this is tunicate.
More turbid region we've entered here.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, rotate and port.
Which means it's probably not as valuable for collection.
Okay. So should we move on then?
I think we probably should. So,
sometimes
I took a lot of dirt with me.
Sometimes in these shallower dives, it's very turbid on the bottom.
Thanks, guys.
You mean that nice, clean sediment?
Sometimes there's
we don't call it dirt,
but other times
the laminar flow is what you meant. Exactly.
Keep going. Are you pointing the right direction?
I'm pointing slightly due north.
Okay.
So
he's 5 degrees off track to the starboard.
that is accurate. Rotating back to 350. Do you want some fog lights?
No, thank you.
Is that something in the center? Would we be able to stop, or are we drifting too much here?
Go ahead, snap zoom.
Watch lead nav.
Looks like dust
Go ahead,
covered,
Nav.
so I guess.
This is the 200 meter mark, so we've gone 200 meters since
Guys,
the
come
beginning of the
wide.
dive.
Roger that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Co-pilot, what's going on?
It's that fish, I told you. See it? Off to starboard.
Did you dust or just the screen? It's a new one. Move's probably just about done. Here. You guys want? I can tack on another. Oh, that's not only 20 meters in. Wait a minute.
Zoom on D2. Sure. Let's try to center up real quick. As long as pilot's okay with it. Yeah.
So we haven't really changed our depth since the beginning of the dive very much. We're now at 3,336 meters. And our view hasn't changed very much either, except for a couple of mounds and some places where something has disturbed the sediment. Looks like we're coming up on another one of those here. This looks a little bit more like something might have dug that. Some animal might have dug that hole. It's not as angular as some of them that we've seen.
Just make sure you mute before you answer.
And maybe another stalk sponge on the right side of our view.
Got eyes on D2.
We just passed 200 meters since we reached the seafloor. And it looks like we have another hermit crab in the bottom right.
All right, move on.
Interesting.
Video, can we come wide on both cameras, please?
And so far, we've been
No, go
traversing this kind of soft sediment for 200 plus meters now. And the common fauna are these stalk sponges. I think you can see one on the right-hand side of the screen now. We've seen quite a few of those. We've seen a couple of umbellula,
Thank you, Bridge.
which are sea pens. We've seen some gooseneck barnacles, several hermit crabs.
Let's find another one of those things, Sean.
One of those sea creatures.
And these are all typical fauna for
Yes.
this kind of
I think we can do
environment,
that.
this habitat.
All right. You didn't miss much.
And here's another one of
We
these
settled a minute or two. Do you want another one?
disturbances in the soft sediments that we've been seeing.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're good.
And it looks like there might be a little trail coming out of it there. Just passing out of our view now. Hopefully we will see what makes those depressions as we move along. Maybe we'll catch an
Bridge, ROV
organism
nav.
in action digging, or
Another ship move, please. We're going to do, the same as before. 30 meters, bearing 350 degrees, speed decimal 2. 350 degrees, please.
and another stock sponge coming into view.
Might feel a little tug, pilot. I think that's you being stretched out on the tether.
I'm trying to give you guys a minute or two of settle between so we don't compound so much if we have to stop, but I can stop doing that if you want. I know you're pretty stretched.
It's going to depend on if we all of a sudden come across a sample or something.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing a good job keeping a nice middle ground.
Okay. Thank you, Bridge.
Snap zoom here. See if this one's out.
There's looks like some pteropod shells in this depression.
But no worm.
But they didn't make this cavity. Just settled into it after it was the hole was formed. Would this be a good time for pilots to introduce themselves?
Yes, I think it is. Hello to those watching on shore. Just a few minutes before the lunch shift change for the pilots, so we want to take a quick moment to introduce ourselves before we head on out of here. Sitting pilot is Bobby Moore.
Sitting navigator, Jeffrey Lanning.
Sitting co-pilot is Sean Kennison.
Over on the right side on video, Bob Knott.
And in the back, I'm Emily Narrow, and we're all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
And in clipping.
Sorry about that. And on video clipping, I'm Emily Narrow, and we're all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
Thanks, guys. You do such a great job.
Video, we found something new.
Oh, look! Our first sea star of the dive.
Looks like he's had a recent meal.
All right, co-pilot, you know what to do.
Fog light protocol initiated.
All right, video, it's all you. That's me, stand by one. You can hold there. I just started pushing too much forward. Apologies. Go ahead.
Tina said that this could be a pteroasterid. This looks different than anything we saw yesterday. And unfortunately, our sea star expert is on the other side of the world in Japan at a meeting. It's Chris Maw from the Smithsonian Institution. He sure is lonely out here. There's nothing anywhere around that we can see.
I think we do. Let's move on.
Thanks for the great video, pilots. And video.
Interesting little zigzags in the sediment here. You can see one off screen right, one right next to the star. Trails of something very small.
Yeah. We are climbing ever so slowly and gently. We're now at 3,335 meters. And we're exploring these giant bedforms, which are huge sand waves in the seafloor. And these extend for quite a distance in every direction here at this part. Of the Blake Ridge.
Are we full? Well, are we full to the skids video? That's all right.
And Scott France commented that the sea star we were looking at looked like a slime star.
Thank you, Bridge.
So, well, here's another hermit crab.
Okay, so our bearing on the moves were
We've been 350.
350.
Yeah, 350.
Okay. Are we underway right now?
No, ship just stopped, so you got a little
We're
swing
having a
left,
pilot
but
change,
otherwise
as you can probably tell.
you're good to go.
We have a couple more of these mounds to the right. So we've been calling this area giant bedforms, and to give you an idea of scale, the crest-to-crest wavelength between two bedforms is about 800 meters, so approaching a kilometer. So these are very, very large sand waves, basically. And these cover quite a large area on this Blake Ridge, so we were part of the dive plan is to just see what these actually are, see that they are sand, see if they're inhabited by any fauna.
All right, watch lead. Yeah, we're just finishing up our, well, I guess we have one more person coming in. We're in the middle of our front row transition, but I'm back with you, and I can zoom in on stuff as you call it out.
Thank you, pilot. If you want to introduce yourselves at any time, that would be great too.
Sure, I'll wait till we have our third person in the chair, and then I'll do that.
Roger that.
And
it's kind of amazing to me when we are doing dive planning and looking at the other ROV or submersible dives that have been done in this area. There's really been none.
Yeah.
And it's a huge area of this Blake Ridge that has had very few eyes on the sea bottom to ground truth what is here. So it's a very valuable thing to be able to get these views.
Should we go ahead and put another move in? I think they said 350.
Yeah. I think every move has been 350.
And 30 meters or 40 meters?
30.
30.
Yeah, but it's been super flat.
Let's go ahead and do 30.
Sounds good. We'll do another 30 meters at 350, speed decimal 2.
Okay.
I will call it a no.
Thanks.
Bridge, this is ROV nav. Would like to make another move. Same thing, 30 meters at 350 degrees, a speed of 0.2 knots, please.
I'm going to zoom in partially on this.
Sure.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
And it looks like
hold there.
Human debris, I imagine. Looks like a rusting can. And a burrow right behind it, at least.
Okay, let's come out. There's quite a bit of current today.
Yeah, so the strong currents that the ROV is experiencing are part of, are the force that has created these large sand dunes. Or
copy that, Bridge.
Waves.
Thank you very much.
Unlike those out by our beaches on shore, which are formed by the wind. It's also hard to believe that even at almost 3.5 kilometers below the surface of the ocean and 100+ miles off the coast, we still see marine debris, evidence of human trash, all the way out here. The area looks so pristine most of the time, and then there's these reminders that we have some impact even in habitats this remote. And although we generally don't think of utilizing this area for human needs, there are more and more reasons that we're going to be looking to the deep sea. So an important aspect of what we do is to ground truth and find where there are sensitive marine habitats, such as coral habitats, sponges, chemosynthetic habitats, which are that live around where gas hydrates are bubbling out of the seafloor. These habitats are very delicate, and so if we know where they are, we can use the resources that we need at the seafloor and above, but not damage these habitats. So that's a big mission, big part of our mission is figuring out where they are and then giving that information to managers who can then plan around these habitats and make sure we don't disturb and or destroy things that would take a long time to come back, if they ever did. Oh, we have a sea cucumber on the floor now. So this is a holothurian, similar to the one that we saw swimming in the water column a little while ago, but this is a benthic species.
Okay, I'm going to kill lasers.
And these
Okay,
guys
zoom in.
scour the mud for food. Oh, maybe
Hold there.
it's actually not a very benthic species in general. Maybe it's more of a swimming species that's taking a break.
I think you're right first, Cheryl. Definitely benthic. It feeds on the sediments and the organics in the sediments. But you can see they're so full of water, they're so light that they can be easily blown off the surface by the propulsion from the ROV.
Yeah, I thought he was going to take flight, but
Rip off the bottom.
Now, I don't know if any of you were on watching the dive yesterday, but we saw one. We were talking about a characteristic of these guys. If they are frightened and about to be
Co-pilot,
eaten,
are
they
you still
can
feeling about
basically
9 minutes of
eviscerate
swing
their
after a
whole
move
gut
is completed?
area, and in the hopes
them
that
tough to tell.
whatever's trying to
Tough
eat
to
them
tell.
will
Just 'cause
concentrate
there's
on
been
that,
nothing
and the
to
rest of the animal can escape.
Gauge off.
mark the reference. But
I think yesterday we were at a similar depth of 3,300, and that was taking between 8 and 9.5 minutes.
I could believe it because I think it
And
takes
Bob
about 5
Carney
minutes to feel it.
says this is
So that
possibly
makes sense, about 5 to-
You can go tighter video.
benthidites or
So, yeah.
palaptites. I probably murdered those pronunciation, but I definitely should have taken Latin. And you can see the gut is the whiter organ that you can see through the skin. Very translucent.
Cool. Okay. Well, when you're clear video, we can come out. Okay. Push ahead.
And Tina mentioned that these holothurians are actually all benthic, and most of them can swim. I really thought there were some that were spent all of their time in the water column, but that doesn't make sense. So thanks for that correction, Tina.
What's that there? Do a partial zoom. Hold that.
I'm not sure what that is. Maybe an old polychaete tube with something stuck on it.
Go tighter. Hold that.
We have one tiny stock sponge in the lower right. But you can definitely see the current.
Yeah.
It's a really good
We're both feeling it here.
indication of how strong it is.
Okay, let's come up. Oh, I see a fish in serious view. Maybe a couple of fish.
Couple, yeah.
Oh, that one is above me.
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. But you guys have been seeing these all day, right?
Yes.
Another Coryphaenoides rat tail fish. And this has been the most common fish by far that we've
let
seen
him
at these types of depths yesterday and today.
Copy that, Bridge. Thank you. All right, that move was just completed. It looks like it's pretty flat going ahead of you, and we got a long distance to get to waypoint 2.
Keep it moving then.
Keep rolling.
Let's do 40 meter moves then.
40 jump.
Yeah.
All right. Same speed, decimal 2.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
See some sponges here. Have you guys seen these before today?
Bridge, this is ROV Nav.
I don't know if we've seen this one before.
We'd like to call out another move of 40 meters at 350 degrees.
There too.
Speed of 0.2 knots, please.
Okay. You want to kill lasers?
That is correct. 40 meters.
Scurrying away.
Okay, go ahead, video.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
Oh, another glass sponge. Yeah, we have seen these. This is probably the 4th or 5th one, maybe.
Going tighter.
Copy that, Bridge. Thank you.
So I've heard that this type of sponge is often given as a wedding present in Japan, and they're these 2 shrimp that live inside, and they stay there for their whole lives together, and so I guess that's supposed to signify a long, happy life.
So how far do we have to go to waypoint 2?
Waypoint 2 is about 700 meters away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gotta hike.
Yeah, let's.
In about 240 meters though, it looks like the slope's gonna pick up a little bit.
Okay, it's still pretty flat though, right?
It's still pretty flat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't
I think the max is about 17 for slope degrees.
I'm just trying to get a feel for how often they want to stop and zoom on stuff, but if we want to keep moving, we could probably do 50 meter moves. And we'll just keep it moving, and then let me know when you call it in, and
copy that.
I'll stop it if I need to. Okay, you want to zoom in on this crab? And hold there. Let's come out. Oh, catch the shrimp. Nope. Yep. Go a little tighter. And hold that. He can move pretty fast, can't he?
We've recently done a watch change.
Okay, let's come out.
Shifted around our front row. Maybe when they get a chance, we could have some introductions. They're conferring right now, so we'll do that in a few minutes.